Greetings, everyone. Very warm welcome to you all to the inaugural session of Sight Day 2021 Global Celebration. Uh, this is a very important key program supported by the Humanitarian Activity Committee, also called as HAC. And this year, as you all know, we are celebrating the 10th year of IEEE SIGHT. SIGHT was inaugurated in 2011. So this is a major milestone, both for IEEE for rolling out such a great program to empower our members at the grassroots level to apply their technical skills and to build a better future for everyone. So with that said, I am super thrilled today. We have with us IEEE President Susan Cathy Land. We are fortunate to have her with us today. And I am Sampath Veeraraghavan. I'm the global chair for the HAC committee. And we also are expecting Lavanga, who is the site steering committee chair. So with that said, I'm super thrilled today for two reasons. One is last year Site Day was launched. The spirit of Site Day is to actually inspire, connect and bring together IEEE volunteers and site members to celebrate their impactful work. And what is really motivating here is that the Site Day as the official program was launched, and President Cathy Land was the one who inaugurated it last year as a president-elect. And this year we have a major milestone, and we are super delighted that we have, as the president, Cathy Land today with us. And to give a brief introduction about the Site Day, and then I would also like to talk about, I would like to formally a little bit introduce all the panelists today. So Site Day, the spirit, as I said earlier, is to actually foster the spirit of community for the global site network. Today, where we have more than 16,000 site members in 118 plus countries, and we have about 178 site groups, right? So this is a global event which demonstrates the story of your journey, how IEEE empowered you as an individual, as a catalyst to bring in positive changes in the living condition of marginalized people in your local community. So I'm super happy about this event, and we have an amazing set of programs that we are going to talk about. So with that said, this is the inaugural kickoff session, and the formal global celebrations are formally inaugurated by our President Cathy Land. We also have, two panels where you will hear more about how SIGHT and, HAC funded project leaders will share their amazing story, what they did with respect to COVID, and, how they apply their technical skills to address the pandemic-related challenges. And thirdly, we also have, a larger panel where several IEEE society leaders are going to come forward, and they're going to talk about how HAC is providing them a larger complementary avenue to make it a win-win approach, both for the society and for HAC in terms of empowering our members at grassroots level. So with that said, I welcome you all, to this great, event today. Julian, do you want to actually go to the next slide? So, so a quick introduction here. We have President Susan Cathy Land here. As short bio about her is she's a world-renowned technologist. Specifically, she has made amazing contributions to the missile development agencies here in US, and she also be a front runner in terms of providing advancements in software practices in development. And she has led a very important senior leadership role for IEEE in various capacity. It will take another hour for me to list out all the leadership contributions what President Cathy Land has done. The most important thing I would definitely will call out here is she has been a very vocal and dedicated supporter of humanitarian activities all along. 2 years back, I met her at the HKN conference in Boston, and she was full of teeming with ideas how we could engage IEEE volunteers at grassroots level. So without a further delay, we welcome President Cathy Land to the Site Day Global Celebrations Program. And I also take this opportunity to welcome all the audience in the call on behalf of myself on HAC committee and Lavanga, the Global Chair for Site Steering Committee. With that said, let's move on to the next slide. So I invite President Kathy Land to deliver the presidential and inaugural address on the importance of IEEE's humanitarian efforts, on behalf of the HAC committee. President Kathy Land, please, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the opening session of IEEE SIGHT Day 2021. I'm really excited to be here. And I'd like to thank Sampath, the Humanitarian Activities Chair, and Lawanga, Chair of SIGHT Steering Committee, for inviting me to join you today. It's my pleasure to be a part of this event and to increase awareness of the IEEE Special Interest Group on Humanitarian Technology, or SIGHT, within IEEE, and to celebrate the impact of SIGHT volunteers and groups that they've made throughout the years. Thank you for changing the slide. So first, I want to share my sincere congratulations on the outstanding SIGHT volunteers on this 10th anniversary of SIGHT. I truly believe that one of the most important applications of technology is when it's used to improve people's lives. For those in underserved areas of the world, it can save lives, it can alleviate suffering, and maintain human dignity. In all regions of the world, technology can improve the quality of life, and that's what SIGHT is all about. So today I'm going to speak briefly about why humanitarian activities are an important part of IEEE, the value they bring not only to IEEE membership, but about our shared global society. Next slide. Thank you. So IEEE's core purpose is to foster technological innovation and excellence for the benefit of humanity. You hear that all the time when you're participating in things in IEEE. It's part of our shared vision to be universally recognized for the contributions of technology and technological professionals in improving global conditions. IEEE SIGHT directly contributes to this in so many ways. To some people, being an IEEE member and volunteer means coordinating a conference. To others, it means chairing a standards committee or working group. And to some individuals, and it means being boots on the ground. That's their vision, and that's how they want to be part of the IEEE mission of advancing technology for the benefit of humanity, and that's SIGHT. So, and this means participating in humanitarian activities, and that's what being a member or volunteer means to them. So one way our SIGHT volunteers do this is by helping the global community to understand how technology can be used to solve important problems and how it might be used to provide solutions to such life-altering issues as providing communities with clean water, reliable energy, better food production, efficient health care, and better education. Next slide. So humanitarian activities are included in IEEE strategic priorities, as well as they are important to our members and they're important to the board of directors. And they're critical, again, to the mission and vision. So in addition to SIGHT, IEEE provides a suite of resources that inspire and enable IEEE volunteers around the world to carry out and support impactful humanitarian technology and sustainable development activities at the local level. So this is just a short list of the numerous humanitarian and philanthropic activities throughout IEEE. So the IEEE Humanitarian Activities Committee, or HAC, focuses on raising awareness of how technically trained people can contribute by providing training for engagement in humanitarian technology and sustainable development activities, and supporting and evaluating projects and cultivating relationships and leveraging opportunities. So as part of the strategic effort toward membership engagement, HAC instituted the SIGHT program. And to date, as you heard earlier, more than 155 SIGHT groups have been founded in over 50 countries. So as part of the philanthropic arm of IEEE, the IEEE Foundation works to inspire donors, and then manages their donations to invest in IEEE programs under the categories of illuminate, educate, engage, and energize, to bring the promise of technology to individuals and communities around the world. IEEE Smart Village is a signature program of the IEEE Foundation, whose mission is to bring electricity to off-grid communities. And I'll share an example of the Smart Village initiative later in my talk. So engineering projects and community service, or EPICS, and IEEE empower students to work with local service organizers to apply their technical knowledge to implement solutions to solve communities' unique challenges. I really like EPICS because it really gets engaged in local communities. And it not only assists communities in achieving their specific local communities' improvement goals, what they need to get done, but also encourages students to pursue engineering for community improvement as a career. So the goal of IEEE Empower a Billion Lives, it's a competition to help the global community create and demonstrate sustainable solutions for energy across access that are technically and economically viable. So these are solutions that can rapidly scale and to impact more than 1 billion people across the globe who live in extremely energy challenged areas and who live in energy poverty. Community Outreach is an IEEE USA initiative, and it's an emergency relief program committed to assisting victims of natural disasters. And they have short-term communications, computer, and power solutions to support people that are hit by hurricanes and other floods and other natural disasters. And you can see in that, I don't think there's a picture, I thought there was, but you can look online and see examples of MOVE disaster relief support that's been provided. Oh, sorry, I didn't turn my phone off. Sorry about that. The MOVE truck and volunteers have mobilized 20 times on disaster relief missions and provided assistance to Red Cross responders and more than 250,000 people adversely affected by natural disasters since they've been mobilized. Through IEEE's diverse programs, there are many opportunities to make a contribution, big or small, if you're interested, to improving the human condition worldwide. Together, the strength and reach of IEEE network can be leveraged to make a difference worldwide, and that's what we're doing through IEEE Humanitarian Initiatives. Doing good brings great returns. And so please, if you're interested, visit the IEEE website to see how either through donations or through your own personal efforts, you can help IEEE and our humanitarian efforts make a big difference. Next slide. So how IEEE HAC, or Humanitarian Activities Committee, fits into the strategic plan. So as I mentioned earlier, the IEEE Board of Directors cares about humanitarian activities, and they've been working for the past few years to update the strategic plan. And this plan is a vital part of the ongoing evolution of IEEE. It's a living document, is what we call it, and it provides a clear picture of the IEEE as an organization. It provides a picture of the goals the IEEE community is pursuing, its initiatives that will move IEEE forward in the coming years. And what I'm providing here is just sort of a snapshot of some of the humanitarian goals and initiatives. The humanitarian activities are well aligned with the IEEE mission. The strategic goals and support of the IEEE board endorsed vision of international IEEE members and volunteers carrying out and supporting impactful humanitarian activities on the local level around the world. Humanitarian activities within IEEE support our goals for increases in sustainability and in the roles of engineering and technology. HAC provides hands-on opportunities and supports IEEE educational resources, and most importantly, through its global network, provides positive impact to underserved communities around the world. Next slide. Why do humanitarian activities? A number of years ago, I'd say about 10 years ago, we really started to push in humanitarian activities in IEEE, and we heard this throughout IEEE. You know, we're a technical organization. We're not the UN. Why are we doing this? Well, it's important. It is part of IEEE's mission and vision to improve, you know, the human condition through technology. So, and there are many ways for you to use your technical expertise and skills to make a contribution, big or small, to improving the human condition worldwide. If you're interested, you can become involved at any stage of IEEE engagement through contributions of your time, your talent, or your treasure. Some people don't have time. They think they don't have talent. Everyone has talent, but sometimes people just want to give a monetary contribution. And you can do that through the foundation that I mentioned earlier. But why IEEE rather than other organizations? And that's important. It's because IEEE sponsored humanitarian activities leverage IEEE's global network of members and volunteers and tap into IEEE's vast network of resources. We have training, funding, institutional relationships that exist. I'll give you an example. IEEE enables its members and organizational units to accomplish its strategic priorities that I just mentioned through conferences, other events, existing sections and chapters on the ground. And we also work to raise awareness through our humanitarian technology and sustainable development on how technically trained people can contribute. So we have the people, the engineers, or the other technologists who have the knowledge, we have the network, and we have the willpower. So that's very important. I mentioned training. We provide training to increase the capacity of IEEE members and projects to successfully undertake these humanitarian and sustainable development activities. And that's very important. We just don't let people loose on the ground without the training that they need. So if you are interested, please understand that we will provide you with the resources necessary to complete the mission. Next slide. So what value do these activities offer to you, right? So what's in it for me? So as an IEEE member, there are benefits to engaging in humanitarian technology and sustainable development activities at IEEE. So you can learn and develop some skills, and professional skills. You can build a connection to a new community. You can network with like-minded other volunteers or members. And you can make connections with people in your local community, people you didn't necessarily know, and you can improve your local community. And you can work toward a greater purpose. I always say that one of the reasons that I participate in IEEE as a volunteer, that I benefit from sort of getting outside my own head, that I've benefited greatly from making all the connections to the broader technical community. And most importantly, you make a real difference when you participate in IEEE humanitarian activities. And you use your technical skills to give back. Next slide. So when we serve our members, and as president, I always try to, it's very important to me in any volunteer role that I've ever had. I always think about my constituency, the members, what do our members want? But when we survey our members, they tell us consistently that they value education that will allow them to remain technically proficient. And an integral part of the IEEE strategic mission is to offer educational resources and training to support humanitarian activities. And I mentioned this about equipping the folks that are volunteering in this area. We do provide additional educational resources to support humanitarian activities. So IEEE is here for these members and has developed an educational curriculum on humanitarian technology and sustainable development. And it's housed on what we call the IEEE Learning Network. Topics are related to humanitarian activities, sustainable development, and how technology and technically trained individuals can contribute. So if you're interested in learning, you can see the web link at the bottom of the slide. It's iln.ieee.org. And you can go there to find out more. It's very important because with better prepared, skilled participants, every activity has a greater positive impact. Next slide. So students and young professionals are the future of IEEE, and they're definitely dedicated to our humanitarian activities. And our statistics show that about 70% of all SIGHT members are student members or are graduate student members of IEEE. And the data shows that student members and young professionals are actively involved with SIGHT groups and are on the HAC SIGHT project teams in their local sections or student branches, which I find is very exciting that the future of IEEE is involved in this activity. One student team shared their thoughts after participating on a project. It's a project took place in El Salvador several years ago, and the volunteers installed a photovoltaic system on the roof of a community center. And it supplied about 30% of the center's demand and provided a better load balance. And due to the high cost of electricity in the area, the center was not able to devote sufficient funds for workshops, projects, and other activities to benefit the community until this was done. And due to the installation of this, the reduction of the electric bill, it allowed the community center to expand its offerings to all the nearby inhabitants. So this project and the participation of the young professionals and students resulted in an immediate direct benefit to the community. So this is an amazing direct impact that these students and YPs had on this community. Next slide. So we all know the undisputed reach and influence of social media, good and bad. And we report overwhelmingly positive conversations on social media regarding IEEE and humanitarian activities. And what's really exciting about this is that the female voice is about 65% is in the majority, which is really sort of opposite from IEEE conversations, as many STEM conversations when you're talking about IEEE. So that's really good to hear where we're talking about humanitarian activities. And we're also attracting more young people, with 75% of the users in the 13 to 34 age group, which is really kind of different for IEEE as well. So that's good news. So if you're interested in joining in these conversations, you'll find active groups on Twitter, Instagram, and Collaboratech. So you can also find me on Instagram if you're interested in having a conversation with me. It's Susan Kathy Land. So next slide. Right, so I'd like to speak today about IEEE's growing partnerships with the United Nations and several of its organizations in support of IEEE's mission to advance technology for the benefit of humanity. IEEE has become a thought leader in the UN Social Development Goals, or SDGs. IEEE members have the expertise and know-how to help develop solutions for many critical sustainability issues. Members and non-members alike are working around the globe in partnership with IEEE to make noticeable, impactful improvements on the ground in addressing these SDGs. And these include developing professional and educational programs to support capacity building for the development of engineering and technical professionals in parts of the world lacking strong technical communities, promoting technically feasible, economically viable solutions to sustainable development practices in IEEE's fields of interest, and exploring IEEE's role in sustainable development practices and solutions, with such practices to address collaboration within IEEE and IEEE membership opportunities and models. Next slide. So IEEE has received consultative status with the United Nations Economic and Social Council, or Ecosoc. The special status is granted to non-governmental organizations or NGOs, which have special competence in or concerned specifically with some of the fields of activity covered by Ecosoc. So Ecosoc is at the heart of the United Nations system to advance the 3 dimensions of sustainable development, and these are economic, social, and environmental. This approval recognizes IEEE's contributions to date to the sustainable development and humanitarian technology and to supporting the achievement of the UN SDG. This status enables IEEE to more closely participate in the work of the United Nations, to attend international conferences and events, make written and oral statements at these events, organize side events, and enter United Nations premises and have opportunities to network and lobby. This partnership will also provide strategically important opportunities to significantly increase the impact of IEEE's contributions going forward. So we're currently engaged in the International Telecommunication Union, or ITU, which is the United Nations Agency for Digital Technology as well. Next slide. Another great partnership that we have developed is with the United Nations Educational, Scientific, and Cultural Organization, or UNESCO. UNESCO is a specialized agency of the United Nations aimed at promoting world peace and security through the international cooperation in education, the sciences, and culture. Supported by the Africa Council, and the IEEE Uganda section, IEEE delivered the IEEE Reach lesson plans to pre-university girls in Uganda in several rural locations. Working with several Uganda-based nonprofit organizations, the team traveled to locations via a moving classroom trailer and underserved communities to provide the program overview to teachers on the courses, as well as to provide the course and hands-on activities to the students. I mean, this is an amazing outreach. They ensured that the IEEE Reach lesson plans support Uganda's National Curriculum Development Center's curriculum, and each lesson was a 4-day activity and was expected to reach more than 250 students. When the concept was presented, you'll see a quote at the bottom from Ravani Sigamani. And I love this quote. She says, "I think this is a great initiative for UNESCO because in terms of education, science, culture, history, and social sciences, it's all part of what we do. It has a very global outreach, and this is great for UNESCO because it will appeal to all countries, and it is exactly what we need." So it's great to be able to participate in something that is meeting a need, something that is wanted and desired. Next slide. So I want to focus for a moment on IEEE's response to the COVID-19 pandemic through its humanitarian efforts. I'm asked quite a bit about COVID-19 and what we're doing, but want to frame this in a humanitarian response. So the COVID-19 pandemic has affected the world in an unprecedented manner, and it's still ongoing. It's terrible what's going on right now in India and Brazil. HAC created a joint call with IEEE SIGHT projects to support grassroots humanitarian technology and sustainable development projects that address the COVID-19 situation by IEEE members and their local communities. In 2020, HAC and SIGHT received 229 proposals and awarded funding for 101 projects in 29 countries in 5 IEEE regions. So far this year, IEEE members have submitted a record high 156 proposals from 34 countries and in 5 IEEE regions to the HAC site call for proposals. And I hope I have all those numbers right. I got those from IEEE staff. So if I'm wrong, I can be corrected, but that's still an amazing number of calls and responses. Next slide. So again, facing the challenges of a global pandemic, our community came together in new ways and emerged, some would say, even stronger. And looking to the future, we know we have a host of opportunities before us. I mean, it's easy to get discouraged, but I would like to always challenge us to look for opportunities in challenging times. The continuing COVID-19 pandemic has certainly demonstrated the impact that professional engineers and technologists have on society. We've witnessed amazing engineering developments and important medical and technological breakthroughs. The challenges and changes we have witnessed in local communities across nations and around the world confirm that the work of professional engineers, technologists, educators, young professionals, and students preparing for technical careers will continue to be in high demand and have a great impact. However, the pandemic has exposed weaknesses in the global infrastructure that supports the citizens of the world. And it's become even more apparent that the vital communications, computing infrastructure, computing energy distribution infrastructure, everything that's been so critical during these times is not equitably distributed, particularly in less developed regions. And this has increased concerns and focus on the digital divide. Next slide. So capacity building in engineering is a lever for economic, social, and sustainable development and is a priority for IEEE. Engineering professionals play a key role in the overall economic development activities for countries and regions. A less complex statement is that capacity building is the process of assisting people to develop their technical and decision-making skills to address their own needs for improving the living standards and prosperity of their own people and building an environmentally sustainable society. So IEEE has a call to action to its communities to develop professional and educational programs supporting capacity building for engineering and technical professionals in parts of the world where those resources are scant. Many IEEE programs are focused on building partnerships with local communities, entrepreneurs, and stakeholder groups to encourage the adoption and implementation of appropriate technology to increase community capacity building to support local sustainability. Next slide. So I'd like to share a call to action to all our members around the world and all interested IEEE organizational units to develop professional and educational programs supporting capacity building for the development of engineering and technology professionals in parts of the world lacking strong technical communities. Promote technically feasible, economically viable solutions and sustainable development practices in IEEE's fields of interest, and explore IEEE's role in sustainable development practices and solutions with such practices to address collaboration within IEEE and IEEE membership opportunities and models. We should remember and encourage the direct connection of these global challenges to IEEE's codes of ethics, which inspire IEEE members to strive for and comply with ethical design and sustainable development practices. This is crucial given the global scale of the environmental, social, and governance challenges that threaten to influence the living conditions of our current generations. Next slide. So how can you get involved? So the immediacy of COVID, the threat of COVID cannot displace our long-term focus on sustainable development and on finding better ways for each of us to live in concert with our environment. From green energy to reducing waste and emissions, from transportation electrification to digital education, health and agriculture with smart villages, and reimagined rural communities. Technology and technologists, particularly local innovators and entrepreneurs, have a significant role to play in shaping our life on this planet. And as a person who believes in the power of technology to benefit humanity, I find this to be a very compelling vision of our shared future. So together we can work to develop and apply technology to help solve the world's most challenging problems. And if you look at the link on the bottom of this slide, this is how you can get involved. Go to IEEE.org, doing good. Next slide. So thank you. I hope you found this information that I've presented today informative. I'd like to be happy to take any questions, and I invite you to reach out to me on Instagram, or there's my email address. And thank you again for the invitation to speak today.
Thank you, President Kathylan. It was an amazing presentation where you cover the breadth of, breadth and width of the opportunities available within IEEE to engage our members in humanitarian engineering and sustainable development program. So on behalf of the IEEE HAC committee and the site steering committee, me and Lavanga would like to again thank you for inaugurating the Global Site Day today and kickstarting a series of global celebration. We really are grateful for your time and for joining us today. Yep. Awesome. So the next part of the segment, what we're going to do right now is, it's almost April. It's been 100 days since we started. Like I started as HAC chair along with my awesome committee. So the next particular section, we are going to focus about what HAC as a committee, what are the unique offerings we provide, and what are the major strategic programs we are launching in 2021, and what we have delivered in the first 100 days. And this will be followed by another segment particularly focused on the site progress, the brief history, and about some of the great initiative that has been spearheaded by the site steering committee. And you will hear more of that from my friend Lavanga on the call today. So with that said, next slide. So HAC, as you all heard from the previous slide from our president, Kathy Lang. So we are a global committee that reports to the board of directors. The mandate for our committee is to provide a portfolio of global programs to inspire, connect, and engage IEEE volunteers at grassroots level. And we offer a portfolio of programs. And one of the most famous or popular program is the IEEE Special Interest Group on Humanitarian Technology, also called as the SIGHT program. You will get to know more about that in the next segment. In addition to SIGHT, HAC also offers more global programs. So let's take a quick look into what are the additional benefits and other global programs what we offer. First, HAC focuses on raising awareness about how technologies can play a very vital role in the sustainable development space, and we empower solving these grandest challenges on the planet by giving opportunities for our IEEE members, more than 16,000 site members specifically, in 118 countries across all 10 regions. And secondly, we provide plenty of opportunity in terms of strengthening your skill set to professionally develop your skills pertaining to the design and delivery of large-scale sustainable development programs. And this kind of educational opportunity becomes very critical, especially for students and young professionals, because you get to work on a real-world program. And in a nutshell, it prepares you to be industry ready or to pursue advanced graduate programs or doctorate. And most importantly, it also provides a line of opportunity for fellow senior members, life members, to actually mentor and guide the next generations of engineers. Okay. Thirdly, the most important aspect of HAC is the projects program. And as you can see, last year we had a terrific, introduction of the joint program between SIGHT and HAC. This year, we already have broken the record for receiving the highest number of projects in the last 10 years, I would say. So you can see here we have received about 156 projects from 34 countries within the first 90 days of the 2021 HAC committee came into action. So we really are looking forward to set a new benchmark. The another major call out here I would like to congratulate the site steering committee is that we have surpassed more than 16,500 members in terms of the membership. This is the highest membership. And then the last 3 years, site has been constantly growing its global footprint. We reached 10,000 miles, and then last year again we reached close to 14,000 milestone. Now it's nearing 17,000 milestone as I speak. And lastly, all these activities are interconnected. The goal is to actually create a global sustainable development community by empowering our members through partnership with within IEEE and beyond IEEE. And this year HAC specifically is looking at rolling out programs which will issue shortly to strengthen our collaboration with regions and societies and international agencies like United Nations and so forth. Next slide. So with that a brief introduction, these are some of the major initiatives what we are going to roll out this year. We listened to the feedback from our from our members throughout the globe. So we are rolling out smart programs which is specific, more measurable, and more relatable for our members at the grassroots level. So you can see here with the societies, we already have a great strides in terms of partnership, and we are rolling out joint co-funding programs and educational programs with societies. Some examples here includes EDS, APS, and photonic societies, and many more societies are going to shortly announce joint programs for benefiting society members and provide them complementary avenue to HAC programs. Second is we are also working with all the 10 regional directors very closely. So for every region also we are going to roll out region specific program in order to provide more opportunities for our members. And thirdly, we also are working closely with MGA, EAB, TAB, and standards to roll out strategic initiatives. And one big call out here is that in addition to this partnership, we will continue to provide our regular call for proposal. We expect at least 2 call for proposal this year. Of course, we have completed one and we'll be shortly announcing the results as well. But you can expect another round of funding opportunity, direct funding opportunity from HAC, probably around late summer or so. And also, our committee is looking at, providing more opportunities in terms of creating educational resources, curriculums, and community of practices this year. So we could provide not only a framework, but also the necessary resources to make sure our members are successful. And there is both the component of sustainability, and we can effectively deliver an impactful program catering to the near term and the long term needs of the local communities throughout the globe. And there are some really great programs we are launching as well, probably starting from this summer. One, we are going to host the first ever IEEE HAC Global Summit. The details about this program will be shared probably in summer. The idea is to provide a global platform to bring together world leaders and IEEE members, site members, specifically in the sustainable development field. And thirdly, secondly, we also announced already a newsletter, a joint newsletter called a Sustainable Development Newsletter. Today it goes to more than 118 countries serving our members, covering the breadth and width of the activities they are doing under the umbrella of HAC and SIGHT. And thirdly, I would say within the next few days, we will be releasing the first ever quarterly report from HAC. So every quarter, HAC is going to show the breadth and width of impact what we are making across the board. So definitely look forward to these reports. And we also are closely working with the UN agencies, and we expect some collaborations announcement sometime in summer. And on the operational side, we are introducing more process improvements, unified identity between site and HAC and so forth. And also we are creating a joint site group operational manuals and handbooks and so forth, so that we can make the experience of the members at the grassroots level more seamless and integrated. Next slide. So with that said, you can see here in the first 100 days, we have covered, I would say I'm really proud of all the volunteers and the steering committee members. And you can see here the breadth and width of collaborations, what we are already working towards, right? You can see here regions, various programs within IEEE. So definitely HAC is the front runner when it comes to sustainable development initiatives within IEEE. And we are super thrilled the partnering programs are working hand in hand with us, so that we can make IEEE to be a world leader in sustainable development space. I take this opportunity to actually thank all the members at grassroots level who are actually contributing to various programs here. And most importantly, also the staff team who has been a stellar pillar behind these efforts. Next slide. So one glittering example here, on the partnership front, There are three major benefits why increasingly the society, the leading societies are seeing partnership with HAC is a very very critical component of the strategic plan. One, at an individual level, this opportunity provides hack opportunities provides a complementary avenue to deliver a positive experience. At the section and the chapter level, it provides a more interconnected opportunity where you can bring together the chapter leaders, the local section leaders, and engage them with the local community and non-profit organizations. So there is amazing opportunity for attractions of new member, retentions of new member, and engagement of existing member. At the regional level, it also helps to come out with strategic larger initiatives, probably helping to foster newer relationship with global programs. So with that said, one big call out here, as you can see, within the 100 days, IEEE EDS has pledged to fund about $10,000. Last year they gave $25,000. This year also they have committed to provide $10,000 for joint funding programs, and APS has pledged to provide another 25,000 programs. So definitely we are very very thankful to all the leadership team in the societies who are increasingly the value of HAC to be an integral component of the society programs in 2021 and beyond. Next slide. Okay, I'm also going to show this one. Another record data here is, as I said, 156 proposals. And you can see this is 33% increase from last year. As I said, this is the highest number of proposals received in the history of HAC and SIGHT per cycle. And you can see the distribution here. 84 proposals were from people, applicants, associated with IEEE societies. 45 proposals are connected to student branches. 33 are connected to MGA units. And this clearly reflects that the breadth and width of IEEE is very interested in engaging in humanitarian activities programs. Next slide. Again, partnership front, we are actually expanding our horizons. Not only we are working closely with regions and societies, we are also working with amazing partners like IEEE Tech Ethics. Among with, we participated in a panel, organized by Tech Ethics and the UN DESA, program. We also are working with IEEE Foundation, and we, jointly rolled out a huge section Congress program. And lastly, we also recently worked with HK and Eta Kappa Nu, where we rolled out a diversity STEM event as well. And most importantly, on May 3rd, HAC is going to host the first ever side event in the Science Technology Innovation, also called as the STI Forum. Basically, it's an UN forum where we'll be presenting about the Feet on the Ground initiative. So this is again a big win that world leaders and other programs are increasingly taking cognizant of the impactful work done by HAC and IEEE under the umbrella of IEEE. Next slide. Okay, so with that said, I will let Lavanga to
Sorry, excuse me. This is Juliana. I thought since we skipped a slide at the very beginning, perhaps a good transition to speaking more about IEEE SIGHT would be the timeline of IEEE SIGHT to go along with our theme.
Of course, definitely, Juliana, go for it. So one call out here, as we see, this is a very important year. We are celebrating the 10th year here, and you can see the journey here for IEEE SIGHT. 2011 it was inaugurated. 2012 SIGHT becomes operationalized, it was formalized. 2013 we launched the grants program. 2016 we reached the 100 groups basically, and in 2019 we almost doubled our membership and reached close to the the 10,000 milestone mark. And we also kind of closely came to the 149 groups, and we launched pilot programs, and we launched SIGHT Week in 2019. In 2020, we launched the first ever SIGHT Day, and we basically reached nearing the 13,000 membership mark and 174 groups. And today in 2021, within the 100 days of 2021, we have already broken all the records for SIGHT membership. We are marching towards 16,500 members in 178 groups. And we also called about record number of partnership is being discussed as we speak right now. So this is a celebration of your journey, like the SIGHT volunteers, the IEEE members who are the heroes and who are the key leaders who are making sure this kind of phenomenal journey in the last 10 years. So with that said, I would also like to call out and thank IEEE Foundation, which actually supports SIGHT as a donor supported program, and all the donors who have been supported us in the last few years. So there are many milestones. We are not able to plug them here. So definitely go and read about it. So with that said, let's hear from Lavanga, the SIGHT, steering committee global chair, and let's hear more about the amazing events planned by his committee today. Over to you, Lavanga.
Thank you so much, Sam, and good morning, good evening, good afternoon to everyone. In this brief, couple of slides, I'll take you through on the overview of the IEEE SIGHT's global network, celebrating on the ground engagement, as well as the opportunity on how to get involved. Next slide, Juliana. There are over 6,000 SIGHT members throughout the world, and roughly 70% of them are student members and young professionals. Members who participate in SIGHT activities many times find it to be a rewarding experience, and that allows for gaining hands-on knowledge, improving technical skills, networking, and making positive change within their local communities. Next slide. If you take a look at these statistics, it shows, and in respect to new SIGHT members by year, it shows that there is a steady increase in membership of members, as earlier noted by Mr. Sampath. It shows that there is a very steady increase in SIGHT membership throughout the past and the past years. Next slide. HAC and SIGHT projects support education efforts and as well enable remote learning during the pandemic, such as some of the projects that have been run. One example is a project from Guatemala. Within this project, members of Guatemala section and SIGHT group provided a lot of training and equipment to adapt to local curriculum and facilitate virtual classes for over 28 elementary school students and their teachers from August to October, when in-person classes in the country were suspended. One of the team members, for example, shared, this is something interesting. The project shows that students use their equipment appropriately, taking care of it until the end of the process, and that this technology would be a useful tool for their learning. It is most valuable because the education problem in Guatemala is very serious, and this pilot project shows that with the right tools, positive changes can definitely be achieved. Next slide. HAC and SIGHT projects usually prioritize diversity and inclusion, supporting the efforts of women in technology, as seen, for example, in this one of the funded projects from Indonesia. For example, in this project, volunteers from the Indonesian section, Women in Engineering Affinity Group, provided a series of virtual workshops on information literacy to help stop the spread of misinformation about COVID-19. Participants here learned how to recognize false information and classify it, how to deliver appropriate responses, and as well how to utilize technology to prevent the spread of information. Something impressive about this project is that after the project's conclusion, the team definitely in the long run published a book with a compilation of stories and experiences of the participants and distributed over 400 copies to share the inspiration, the spirit, as well as the motivation of the project in order to increase information literacy throughout the Indonesian section. This project is also an excellent example of HAC and SIGHT ability to facilitate partnership within IEEE. The project team belonged to the Indonesian section, Women in Engineering Affinity Group, and the project was definitely sponsored by the IEEE Foundation. Next slide. SIGHT and HAC projects provide student members with the opportunity to learn, as well as develop their professional skills, engaging them with real life situations and allowing them to support local communities. For example, this project team was mostly comprised of IEEE student members in Dhanbad, India. The team members designed a very good smart auto irrigation and an application-based soil monitoring system with features including Matringo control Android app, farmers irrigation support, 24/7 monitoring, smart adjustments according to the environmental conditions powered by the artificial intelligence, and a modular design with support of multiple sprinklers or pumps. The project was overwhelmingly promoted by both the national and local media, replacing older irrigation technology that led to water waste encourages local residents to remain in Dhanbad area instead of migrating to other areas or cities for employment. The project also provides those with less farming skills deploy efficient irrigation with a sprinkler system, enhancing crop yield and contributing to economic well-being of the farming community. So these are some of the awesome projects that are definitely being implemented by the site members, definitely on the ground, which projects are definitely looking at solving societal or community challenges. So next slide. How can you get involved within the site day activities? One, you can definitely get involved by promoting IEEE Site Day activities by sharing the entire information with your network and members. Attend to a series of sessions, assuming you are available. You can as well support IEEE Site financially with a charitable gift. Here you can make your donation of roughly $10 to celebrate at least 10 years of IEEE Site's existence. You can as well take a Site Day Trivia Challenge, as well as sharing a site memory. As well as in respect to the site memory, here you can record a short video of roughly 30 seconds and share it with site. And we definitely think that such a video will definitely inspire others to join site, as well as promote site activities, as well as Site Day. Next slide, Juliana. What are some of the opportunities within HAC and SIGHT? One, publicize. SIGHT and HAC usually publicize a lot of opportunities. You can as well as far as these opportunities are concerned, one opportunity is, for example, the funding opportunities. As you might have noted from the previous presenter, he mentioned about the COVID funding. Those are some of the opportunities that you can always access to. You can as well add your site membership to your entire IEEE membership. From a site group, to access needs in your local communities, you can as well apply for financial resources. That's one of the issues I've talked about. If you have a solution that you think could be implemented within your community as a way of solving or curbing a particular challenge, you can definitely apply in for financial resources or support, as well as being mentored and guided in respect to the implementation of that solution within your community. Can as well identify potential opportunities for partnership, additional funding, replication, as well as scaling your particular solutions. Can as well take part in free online courses, for example, courses that exist on the IEEE Learning Network that equip participants with basic understanding of humanitarian technology and sustainable development topics. Please let us know if you have any questions or suggestions, as well as ideas. We always welcome them as a way of really taking SIGHT and HAC, as well as humanitarian initiatives forward. Feel free to talk to us via the email that is existing on the slide, hacoffice@ieee.org. Next slide, Juliana. We welcome any questions as far as these presentations are concerned, and thank you very, very much.
Thank you, Lavaga. That was an amazing presentation and super excited to know about the planned activities from the Site Steering Committee. Congratulations to you. I know we are close to the hour. If we can take a couple of questions. We have with us President Kathy Land with us. And again, on behalf of the committee, we are really grateful for a gracious presence today to inaugurate the global celebrations. Maybe like one question I can start to the President, Kathy Land, here is that you spoke about how it's very important, like how IEEE humanitarian activity is important. What I would like to hear is your thoughts about how like IEEE also needs to be a very important leader in the sustainable development space. And as you can see, the pandemic is a great example. When the pandemic came in, all the different organizations are trying to work together. So I see there are a lot of great programs within IEEE, but how do you foresee in the next 5 years or 10 years, how do you think the field of sustainability, like how this is going to be important for IEEE, as an organization?
That's a great question. So there are lots of sustainability initiatives that are taking place within IEEE technical activities. So, there are different, we call them operating units within IEEE, and technical activities, or TAB, is one of the operating units. And so that's where things happen kind of organically. And so I do see a big drive within TAB for sustainable activities. So that's where the technology will organically occur. But I do think it's important, and you mentioned this in your talk, about reaching out across the operating units, right? So HAC needs to reach out across like to standards and technical activities and educational activities, because we need to educate the volunteers. IEEE, I talk about it in one of my other talks, is we're great. We have a lot to offer, but we tend to be stovepiped, and we're doing a much better job with things like our portals. We have, learning portals and the learning network, and, we're good. Everything, we have a lot to offer, but it's not all integrated. And internally, sometimes in the past, not so much now, we tended to compete with one another across the OUs and not be as integrated as we should be. But I think the key for some of our initiatives and supporting our strategic goals at the board level is to work more collaboratively internally and to integrate, to really harness the power of IEEE. So I think HAC can be a leader in this area, to look across the OUs to really harness the power of IEEE.
Thank you, President. That's an amazing answer. Audience, go ahead, Levanga.
Thank you, Madam Catherine, for the wonderful presentation. One of my questions is in respect to one of the issues you talked about in your presentation. Actually, this is one of the projects that is, I think, ongoing within Uganda section, where the Africa Council and Uganda section collaborated with UNESCO. I wanted to kindly inquire: are there any planned future bigger collaborations such as this, so that other countries globally can implement such projects?
I do know that there is another program, educational program. A number of years ago, there was a program, outreach with Africa, educational program, not just at the community level, but larger scale. But it was stalled for a number of years because it was not repeatable. And I do know that program has been renewed because we're making it repeatable. Right, so it's more online, and I think COVID had something to do with that, because we looked around and sort of went, oh, we have this ability to go online. COVID has been kind of an inspiration in a number of ways, because we've realized that we can do so much online, and not everything has to be done in person, and we can archive programs and reuse them. And there is some value in that, and we can reach underserved communities, and we can lower the price. I would look for more of that in the future. And we are looking for creative ways to do conferences. I do know that one thing that I'm very excited to talk about is that we launched in January a STEM portal, K through 12, that it is my hope that we use that to reach underserved communities all over the world, teachers, volunteers, and students, to inspire the next generation of technologists. I see IEEE in the past, and I'm talking about when I joined IEEE over 30 years ago, was viewed as this ivory tower, right? Sort of an unattainable, to be a member, it still means a lot. It's a very great thing to be a member of IEEE, but it means something different now to me, that IEEE should be viewed as the mentor of the individual, mentor for the profession, not sort of like as a pinnacle of your career, right? To be a member of IEEE, you don't even have to have a degree, which is great. I was on the board when we passed that. IEEE should mentor students, professionals, people who are done with their careers. It should be with you your entire life cycle as a professional, whatever that means. And we should be there for people who are interested in technology, wherever you are in the world, and whatever your resources. And that should be our mission.
Thank you so much, Madam Kathy, for that awesome response.
Great. We have one question. We'll take one question. We're almost like 6 minutes right now, but so there's a question from the from the audience, from Dr. Rajesh from IIT Mandi. He's a site chair there. So the question is, Lavanga, we can take this, how we can help to needed person to site in COVID situation. Please suggest some activities so we can do it in our group. So the idea here is, we have a pandemic right now. What kind of activities site groups can involve in? I mean, I can start with, and Lavanga, feel free to share your thoughts. And one is classically the projects, right? I mean, if you have a local community, understand the needs of the local community. It could range in a wide spectrum. It could be providing electricity or clean water, or even, creating masks for them, right? So that could be one avenue where you could leverage some of the project funding programs, as well as some of the collective learnings from the last year. We have some of this example projects. You can even interface with your other nearby site groups to understand what kind of projects they have done, and you can probably collaborate with them. So I think that one direct opportunity is that. The second is about the educational opportunity, where you can create more awareness. I will let Lavanga to chime in here and share his thoughts about what additional avenues could be done, here. So Lavanga, you want to share some recommendations to them?
Yeah, basically, one, like you said, for example, if you have contacts of site groups within your area or your region, kindly feel free to get in touch with them, come collaborate with them, share with them your ideas, and definitely you can possibly get an idea from them, and then put together that idea as a way of implementing that idea within your community. Look at the challenges within your community in respect to COVID. Like Sam said, for example, your members could be having a technological solution. Which solution could be an important kind of solution to curb the spread of COVID? Feel free to put your ideas together, and then definitely leverage the funding opportunities within site or HAC.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And also, if you want to do something really this week, you have site day celebrations. So go ahead, bring them on board, share your site memory, and, participate in the trivia challenge. There are a lot of panels, here from the project doers. So there's a lot more that you can do this week itself. So reach out to us. We are happy to guide you as well if any further guidance is needed on the front. So with that said, I would like to, go ahead, President Kathy, you want to add anything, please?
Yeah, if you go to the IEEE website and just do a search for COVID resources, there's a whole website that IEEE has, and it's broken up by a virtual event resources for IEEE on the front lines, just all kinds of member resources. So it's all kinds of information to help you with immediate resources for the pandemic. So that might be something you might want to look at as well.
That's an amazing resource. We should also add a pointer in our newsletter maybe. So thank you so much, President Kathy, for the reference on that. Thank you, Rajesh, again for the question. We appreciate it. To all the other audience on the call, we really appreciate you for taking time for joining us today. And for all the 16,000 plus site members, you are the change maker and you are our leaders at the grassroots level. So keep doing the awesome work what you are doing at the grassroots level. Together, we are going to build a better future for everyone. I'm very confident of us, along with the eminent panelists here. And our role here as a volunteering leader is to empower and be there to help you to achieve the larger mission and greater purpose of IEEE. So with that said, I would like to again thank President Kathy Land and Lavanga, and definitely a huge kudos to Juliana and the staff team, Holly, Betsy, Mark, the army of staff team behind the shows, who have been put tremendous effort in organizing the Site Day celebrations this year. So we look forward to meeting you all in the other set of events. So with that said, me and Lavanga, we would like to again thank everyone who joined the opening sessions today, and thanks to President Kathy Land for being a great ambassador and support for both HAC and SIGHT. Okay, thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you.